This class, as always, is in memory of Jared Orchen. Today we're going to learn about the counting of the Omer at page 136. The counting of the Omer is a mitzvah in the Torah. It's written that the Jewish people supposed to, in the time of the Bible, supposed to bring to the temple a Omer of barley. A Omer means a measurement, like a pound. I don't know exactly how much Omer is, maybe a pound and a half. I don't remember exactly what it is, how much it is. They used to take it, cut it off and ground it, make from it flour, bring it to the temple, and the Kohen used to take one end and put it on the altar. That was the Omer. Any barley that was planted before they offered it, when the barley will be ready, you're allowed to use it for your own consumption, for your own personal use. If it was planted after that, it has to wait until next year's Omer offering. It means to say you first bring it to God, then everybody is allowed to eat it. That's called Chodesh. Chodesh means the new crop. Then everything that was planted before they brought the offering, planted and got roots, I think. You're allowed to eat it when it's ready and you reap it. You're allowed to eat it. If not, you have to wait for next year. Then they used to bring the Omer offering on Pesach, the second day of Pesach.
Now, Rabbi, how many people would bring the offering?
One.
Just one.
One.
Okay.
Very important. Just one person. One offering to the temple.
From the whole
From
Jewish
the whole
people?
Jewish people. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how did that person get selected?
Should be a Kohen. A Kohen has to do it.
No, it does the purpose, but I mean, who
The Kohen in every week was another group of Kohens who used to serve in the temple.
Right.
That the Kohen was there.
Yeah, but it wasn't his barley because he doesn't have
No, it
any.
doesn't have to be his barley.
How did he get?
Which barley they took, I never found out. I'm sure that there is
They
somebody.
had a lottery.
It's interesting actually, because during the holidays, every Kohen was allowed to serve in the temple. It probably did at the big machas, what do you think? And it was done with a big event. Because another old side story, that the Sadducees said that the time to offer the barley, the Omer, is not the second day of Pesach, but the day after the first Shabbos after Pesach. Means Shabbos Chol HaMoed, Pesach, the Sunday after Shabbat.
Because it's a day of rest.
Because it's written, the day after the day of rest, you should bring it to the temple. The day of rest is Shabbos. The rabbi said that they received in tradition from Moses that he's talking about the day of rest, it means the first day of Pesach. A day after the day of rest means the second day of Pesach. Then they used to harvest it at night, and I think in the morning they brought it to the temple. Then the Torah says we should count 50 days. You should count for yourself 50 days. And then you there to bring 2 breads made out of wheat. I mean, from flour that's made out of wheat. And every bread was a measurement of Omer. A Omer of flour was baked the bread from Omer of flour. This was brought, that was the only time, almost the only time, that Chometz was brought to the temple. The showbread that they used to bring every Shabbat and put on the table, was a table in the temple, used to be showbread on the table. This showbread used to be made out of, it was like matzah, it was not Chometz. The only time that the community as a whole brought offering bread that was Chometz was Shavuos. A person on his own could bring bread, Chometz bread, together with a thank you offering. When you want a thanksgiving offering to Hashem, you can bring together with that bread, Chometz bread. But beside this, in general, the temple was Pesach Day. Shavuos they brought Chometz. Why is what's Chometz represent? Ego. Then it makes sense that in the temple shouldn't be any Chometz. Shavuos we are allowed to bring Chometz. Why? Because from Pesach to Shavuos, as we're going to speak about it, the journey that the Jewish people make in purifying themselves, then there is no ego. And the little ego that's there You know, there is in Judaism, there is ego and there is pride. In English, right? There is arrogance and there is pride. What's the difference between arrogance and pride?
Arrogance is a haughty kind of a self-serving kind of a.
And pride?
Pride is something in principle can be more pure. It's a little.
Then arrogance is not allowed. Pride of your Judaism is allowed. Then every other time, if you say I have pride of my Judaism, it might be there a little bit of arrogance. A little chometz might be mixed in. Shavuos, after a whole journey of 7 weeks of purification, we have a better chance that it's pure pride, no arrogance inside. That's the spiritual side of it. Then that's what started the counting from Pesach. That's the counting in the Torah from Pesach to Shavuos. Now that we don't have a temple, then really the counting is not relevant. But the Torah said you should continue to count. It's an argument, I think, if it's a biblical mitzvah or a rabbinic mitzvah, the counting of the Omer. But the mitzvah is still there to count the Omer. Why we count the Omer today? The Deran, one of the commentators to the Talmud, says that when the Jewish people left Egypt, they asked Moses, when are we going to receive the Torah? They were eager because Moses told them, we'll go out from Egypt. God is going to give us the Torah at Mount Sinai. Moses told them in 50 days. It's also hinted in the Torah. It's written, God told Moses, when you take the Jews out of Egypt, you will serve God on this mountain. This mountain means God revealed himself to Moses at the burning bush. It was at Mount Sinai. He told them, you will serve God at this mountain. The word service is ta'avdu. You should serve. There is an extra nun there. Ta'avdun. The extra nun, how much is nun? Nun is 50. In 50 days, you will serve God on this mountain. Then the Jewish people started to count 50 days. They were so excited to receive the Torah that they started to count 50 days. No, when you're waiting for something to come to you, how you count? You count up or you count down?
Down.
Count up.
Count down, right?
Cross off the day.
Yeah, another day off. You count down days to vacation. I was teaching in Hebrew class and you count up, you count. They only count down and all of them knew exactly how many days are there until the vacation. I was shocked. I don't remember as a child to know exactly how many days. Because perhaps the vacation was so small it was not even worth it to count all that. But they told me, I have it on my cell phone. Today's old. 62, 65, that's with weekends, that's without weekends. Everything was clear. Then the question is, why when it came to receiving the Torah, we count up and they counted up? We count 1 day to the Omer, 2 days to the Omer. We don't count down. 40 days were left to receiving the Torah, 30 days, 20 days.
Because each day is really almost added to the next day.
Oh, because it's not about counting the days. It's about preparing to the receiving of the Torah. We left Egypt. There is 49 levels of spirituality that can go up and down. It's written that the Jewish people, when before they came out from Egypt, they sinked almost to the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
to 49th level.
Yeah.
One more moment, so to speak, and they wouldn't be anybody to take out. What does this mean? They would assimilate. If Moses wouldn't show up at this point, even when Moses came, they didn't want to listen to him because they gave up so much. One more moment, it was too late. That God himself, as it's written in the Haggadah, me and not an angel, me not a saraf, me not a messenger, me and not anybody else, an evil acher. He came down to Egypt and he took the Jews out of Egypt. That's nice. But they came out with their as they are, not pure. Then to take them out from Egypt, they cannot receive the Torah. That's why we offer barley. Barley is the food of an animal. You are on this level. Then comes 50 days, every day, to become more purified. That God, they had to prepare themselves to be deserving to come to God, to be a mensch. Wheat is eaten by a human being. That from the animal, every person has in his own heart an animal side and a godly side. The animal side is not the bad side. It's the side that demands his own need. His own, I want to eat, I want to drink, I want to sleep, I want to be alive. It's only the only thing is that started the word I. It's about me. It could sometimes be even a spiritual I. And some strange opinion. Then for 50 days, don't worry. I hope it's nothing. That's the spiritual journey. Then therefore they count 50 days. They didn't count the days. They prepared themselves to receive the Torah. That's what the days were all about.
But I thought technically we count 49. The 50th.
You're right.
We don't actually count.
We don't count. We count 49 days
49
because
days.
the 50th
Yeah,
is
it's
something
given to
that
us. It's
Hashem
special.
has to give you. There are certain level how much you can prepare yourself. Then there is something that Hashem has to give you. That's what Hashem can give you, and He has to give it to you. You cannot take it yourself. We read it about also the death of Moses. Moses died. Which mountain was he buried?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Nebo.
We know. We don't know where
Oh,
it is,
right,
but we
right,
know
right,
the
right,
name
you're
of
right,
it.
You're right,
Right.
you're right.
Nebo.
Yes.
Nevo. Nevo stands for the word Nun Bo. Nun, the 50th is in him. Is in it. Moses, on the day of his death, reached the 50th level. The ultimate, so to speak. Then we are on a journey of 49 days, and on the 50th day, God gives us the Torah. God reveals himself at Mount Sinai. That's why it's not important how many days are left. What is important is how many days we have. Like in life, we don't count how much is left, not because we don't know. Even if we would know, it wouldn't make a difference. What counts is what we did with our life that we have, and what we made it a meaningful life. That's what counts. That's why the counting of the Omer also, the counting of the Omer teaches us the importance of the day. Another day passed, another hour passed. The Rebbe once spoke about it. He says, when you look on the clock, and you see that a moment passed, it should give you a tziter. You should shiver. A moment. Every day tells us another day. It's 10 days, it's 12 days, it's 13, it's 15 days, it's 18 days. Time is passing. Better do it at the right thing. Now we say the blessing, then we say the day. And this 7 that if you realize when we count the days, when you come to the first week, we say today is 7 days, which is 1 week of the Omer. We count days and we count weeks. Because it's written in the Torah to count literally the days, and it's written about the weeks too. Then we divided it for 7 weeks. It's divided for 7 weeks. Every week we have to work on another character of us to become better human beings. Then first of all, the law is that if you count 1 day, if you forgot 1 day, you continue to count without the blessing. If you remembered within 24 hours, basically within the same day, in the morning you can count it without a blessing, and then you can continue with a blessing. But if you missed completely 1 day, then you have an obligation to continue to count, but without a blessing.
Excuse me. So in total, 3 Omers would be brought to the temple. The barley on the first day, and then
Yeah,
2
but the 2 bread are not called Omers.
Oh.
The name is not the Omer. If you look into it, it's written, the Torah says it should be 2 Omers for basically the measurement is a Omer per bread, but it's called the 2 breads. On Pesach you bought the Omer, and on Shavuos you bought the bread.
And also, the Yetzer Hara and the animal self, is that the same? Or are they
Not
different?
really. The Yetzer Hara is the evil inclination, is I want to do bad.
It's not even yourself. It's an outside, almost external force, isn't it?
Yes.
More of it's like the.
It's an angel.
Well,
It's an angel.
just-
It's not
Wasn't the
it's not-
serpent
It's
the
written-
personification of the Yetzer Hara?
Yes, what does this mean? An outside thing.
Yeah.
It's an,
The Yetzer Hara, it's written like this, is an angel. It's written in the Talmud, Hu Satan, Hu Malach HaMavet, Hu Yetzer Hara. actually in the other order. But the idea is the Yetzer Hara and the Satan and the angel of death is the same one. He seduces you to do bad. He goes upstairs and persecute the person, and then he's executing the ruling, the sentence. Then it's all, but it's an angel. That's the way it's written in the Talmud, where the animal soul means the soul of survival. Every person wants to survive. Every animal wants to survive. The soul of survival is the animal soul. It's not bad. If you don't want to survive, you will die of anorexia, of depression, of people don't want to be alive. It's terrible. A human being better has the desire. Our job is to convince the animal soul that it's good for him to serve God. That's the job. Not to break the animal soul, not to get rid of the animal soul, but the animal soul is full of power. You know, every car has horsepower. How many horsepower the car has? 600, whatever the number is, I don't remember. Then the animal soul has a lot of horsepower. We want to direct the horsepower to the service of God. To convince the animal soul that the best thing for him is to serve God. He should enjoy to serve God. Really, that's what we try to do, to try to make our children to enjoy to be Jewish. We try ourselves to enjoy this. Then between Pesach and Shavuos, the job is to, the godly soul is a very relaxed soul, I would say. Very kind. People do a mitzvah. They do a mitzvah. How they go to buy ice cream. You're on the go. Anything physical, material, the whole fire. This fire should be for Judaism. You should be excited about the prayer as much as we are excited about the Kiddush after the service. The noise that the crowd, for some reason the crowd is full always by the Kiddush, the whole place is full, right? Can you imagine if it would be 10 o'clock when the service begins? Should be this kind of excitement? That's what we are looking. We are looking to to tie the animal soul to the right direction, to direct them.
Is the animal? I mean, well, the animal soul we're talking about, but the soul that's like a Yetzer Tov, is that like a good?
Yetzer Tov is a good inclination.
Is that an angel
and
too?
Yetzer Hara is an evil inclination. Yes.
The good is
if Yetzer Hara is an evil inclination, Yetzer Tov is a good inclination.
No, but I mean, is it an angel?
I don't.
Another
probably.
angel?
Probably. It must be. If this is an angel, this is an angel. Now there is a godly soul and an animal soul. The godly soul is basically what's about God, not about me. And the animal soul is about me, selfishness. Animal soul could also be in Judaism, in Torah. A person who learns Torah and he has the ego that only he has to know and only he has to understand, and it's only about him, and he doesn't want his friend to prove him that he's wrong. In such a case, he can be selfish in spirituality, in Torah. You can bring your Yetzer Hara in the Torah too. There is a story about Reb Levi Yitzchak of Berditchev. He was a son-in-law of a very rich man. And it used to be the custom, before a kafod, before we dance with the Torah, we read certain lines, certain verses. Everyone says another verse. In the real shuls, they sell it, they auction it out. People pay money for it, and if it's an important shul, they pay a lot of money, for the first verse especially. His father-in-law was a rich man. He bought him one of the verses, and he says, I want to honor my son-in-law, to get up. He was getting up, their synagogue is to put on the talis and get up on the stage and read the first line. He stands, he's trying to, the whole synagogue is full, they're waiting for him to read the line. He's standing there. The whole place, Jewish people are not patient, No, we have to go to eat, let's move on. Finally, he takes off the talis and gives a scream. You say it! And he's going down. Everybody thought that Nebuch, the rich man, felt bad. He got himself a son-in-law, he's not 100% there. Talking to himself, screaming. Just a strange behavior. After like a 40 comes at night alone, tells him, my dear son-in-law, why you have to embarrass me? If you wouldn't want to say it, don't say it. Well, what is this kind of behavior? What is this Meshach guys? He told him, I'll tell you the truth. He says, I came up to read the verse, and I felt that I enjoyed too much. My Yetzer Hara is right there. He's also, that's good, big honor, yeah, you're reading, yeah, everybody looks at you, yeah, sure. He said, I try to remove my ego from this story. I try to get out of my own arrogance. I shouldn't enjoy it because if it's me. But then I saw it's not working. I turned to my Yetzer Hara and I said, you say it, and I walked down. What does this mean? You bring your Yetzer Hara with you everywhere. That's a problem. You don't leave your Yetzer Hara somewhere else and today I'm pure. It doesn't work like this. Yom Kippur in the synagogue, you have the Yetzer Hara with you. And that's why you have to be so careful. Remember once in 770, was somebody was praying the Amida, I was so, and he did, then somebody pushed him, he gave such a, there was a lot of pushing going on there. That an older man stopped him, he told him, before you say this, don't do this. You're hurting another person, you're praying to God, I'm sorry. What I mean to say is, in the most holiest moment, your evil inclination waits for you right there. Basically, it's a reality check. You're not so holy. Hey, get yourself in perspective. That when we know who we are, that makes it much easier. Then we know what to expect. We don't get frustrated. We don't get depressed if we are not perfect. And we know not to give ourselves too much credit. I'm holy and I'm this and I'm... This is really the journey from Pesach to Shavuos, from an animal to a human being. A little bit of the ego to shave off a little bit from between Pesach and Shavuos. Every week a little less. Then we have the 7 weeks. I've spoke already before in other occasions. The 7 weeks that every week we have to concentrate on another character, on another emotion. In general, there is Chabad. We all know what Chabad is, right? Chabad stands for Chochmah, Bina, Dat. Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. In Kabbalah, that's called the parent. Then there are children. The emotions are called the children. Love, fear, kindness. Why is this called the parent and this called the children? If a person, if a child is ready to jump off the table, it means that he's brave, or it means that he doesn't have enough brains to understand that he's going to get hurt. If you give him $1 or a candy, I once gave out dollars, coins for Hanukkah guilt. All the kids throw it back at me. They thought it's candy, it's chocolate Hanukkah guilt. Who needs $1 here in America? Who needs money? $1. Then when a child wants the candy over the $1, it's not because he's so spiritual that he doesn't care for money. It's because he doesn't understand that $1 is worth it more than a candy. Educate them, and he will start to love dollars. Before long, he will start to love dollars. Then the love to the dollars is an outcome, is a child of the understanding, of the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Now, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge is divided into 3 things. Wisdom is the moment that comes to you an idea. A person is looking to discover, to find out, to develop an idea, to resolve a problem. The first thought that comes to his mind, that's called the flash that comes to him, that's chokhmah. It comes to the word koach ma. Koach means power, strength. Ma, what's ma? What? What means you ask yourself, what is it? You cannot even say what it is. If a minute after you get the idea, I tell you, tell me. So, I forgot now. You confused me, I forgot. Why? Because it's so abstract that you cannot even, if you will not hold on to it, you will forget it. That's the spark, the flash that comes to your mind. Then comes understanding, bina. Bina comes to the word le'avin, to understand. You develop the idea. You make it into something you can explain it. You can understand it to yourself and explain it to others. That knowledge is how I'm going to apply it to life, to reality. To decide what type of woman you want to marry. Then, that's Bina. What kind of person you want to marry. Then Das is what I'm going to do about it. How I'm going to go about that to achieve my goal of finding the right woman that I decided I need to marry. Then this is Chokhmah, Bina, and Das. They give birth to emotions. Now there are some emotions who come before, who are not coming from the brains, come from the heart. Some emotions are a birth, a child of the intellect. There is emotions who come without an intellect. The desire to eat or to drink, you don't need a decision. Somebody tell you, no, it's a good idea, you should start to eat. Everybody wants to eat. To love, here is the difference between how Orthodox marriages are being done and how secular marriages are being done. Orthodox marriages are being done by first, regular marriages, a person goes on the street or in store, whatever it is, in class, in school, everywhere, he sees somebody, falls in love, and that's how, in the Orthodox ways, it's first of all the intellect, make the decision if that's the right thing for you, the parents make the decision, and then gives birth to love. Then the intellect gives birth to love. That's a two-way how you do these things. Now, the emotions are the ones that we work on. The midot, they are the ones that we work on in these 7 weeks. The first week is chesed, kindness. The second week is gvura, discipline. The third week is tiferet, the week that we are in now. Just beginning this week. I think tonight is the first.
Tonight.
Yeah, the first day of the third week. And we as mentioned a few times, then there are 7 great leaders of the Jewish people that represent the seven weeks. First one is Abraham. Is chesed. We all know that Abraham is kindness. Abraham is he was the epitome of chesed. And Abraham, that's why for Abraham was so hard to make the Akedah. The test of sacrificing his son was so hard for him because he was the ultimate of kindness. And to do something complete against his nature, that was so hard. That's the first week. You have to work on your kindness. What means you have to work on your kindness? Even kindness has to be done the right way. For example, charity. People think that charity is something that you can do whenever you want. You're a charitable person. Don't call me today, I'm in a bad mood, I had a bad day. Charity is a mitzvah. It's not only when I have a bad day. You put on film when you have a bad day too. You give charity when you have a bad day too. It's not that kindness has to be improved too. But kindness is easy, kind of. The second week is discipline. That's gvura. Gvura means restraining. Ezeu gibor, the Mishnah says, who is a hero, who is a strong man, somebody can control his inclinations, his desires. That's a strong man. It's to restrain, to control, to discipline yourself. I told the kids about discipline. Somebody tells me, I discipline my dog. I told them, no. It's not about disciplining somebody else. It's about disciplining yourself. Everybody's ready to discipline the whole world. That's why the Mishnah says it's more hard to it's easier to discipline a whole nation than to discipline yourself. That's the hardest part. This week...
What is the word sheba before the word chesed, or sheba before the word...
Sheba chesed.
What is sheba? What is
in the chesed. Within the chesed.
It's an aspect of
chesed, because you take chesed and we divide it, chesed alone, you divide it into 7 levels.
So all these different, then you're taking each one, and you're saying this, and Tiferes is sheba chesed. It's within...
That chesed is the weak,
Yeah.
The Tiferes of the chesed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Then the second week is represented by Isaac. Isaac was disciplined. That's why Isaac was so into doing what Hashem wants from him, that when Abraham told them, by the way, that he's going to sacrifice him, he says, whatever you want, whatever Hashem wants, doesn't make a difference. That's kind of a person, what Isaac was. There's a famous story about 3 kings wanted to show who has the most dedicated soldiers. Then the Hungarian king and the Polish king and the Russian and the Tsar. That one of them calls a soldier, tells him, jump out of the window. Says, please, king, have mercy, I cannot do this. He sent him away. The other king calls in, tells him, jump out of the window. He tells him, begs from him, I have a family, I need to come back, they're waiting for me. Sends him away. Then the Tsar calls. Jump out of the window. The soldier is asking, which window? That means discipline. That means a soldier of God. The only question is which window, here or there. I saw something lately, something similar, I forgot. I saw so many things in so many places, I don't remember everything. Getting old. The third week is Tiferet, this week. What's Tiferet?
Jacob.
What is Tiferet?
Beauty.
It's balance.
It's a
balance.
combination.
A combination of two colors, for example, of red and white or black and white makes a beautiful thing. If this room would be only white or only gray, whatever, one color wouldn't be beautiful. The combination of colors makes something beautiful. The combination of Chesed and Gvura, the balance of Chesed and Gvura, creates Tiferet, creates beauty. There is a second name for beauty, Rachamim. Rachamim means mercy. Who represented Jacob? Here we see it by Jacob, that he was able to combine Chesed and Gvura more than the forefathers, more than Abraham and Isaac. We see it by Jacob. What Jacob did, that he was more successful than Abraham and Isaac. Which part of life Jacob was more successful than his parents, than his father and his
Well,
forefather?
going into the world, Laban dealing with the seedier parts of life.
Raising his children.
He had more children,
He had more children,
more
and
wives.
And they all stayed in the
he was succeeding in raising the children, all of them good. See, Abraham had only 2 children,
That's right.
right?
They both went
One.
50-50.
50-50. Abraham went 50-50 and Isaac went 50-50. You know, people tell me, I cannot have another child. I'm not sure I can be a good father for another child. Believe me, if you cannot be a good father at the 3rd child, you're not allowed to have 1 child either. If you can be a good father for 2 or for 3, you can be a good father for 10. How is it that Jacob was able to raise 13 Jewish children who believe in God, and Abraham and Isaac had only 2 children and were not successful? Not only that, Abraham and Isaac, where they lived? Where they raised the children?
Israel.
In Israel. Next to the JCC, in a good neighborhood, Beersheba, Hebron, beautiful places. Jacob, where he went? To Haran. Where's Haran, you know?
Syria.
Turkey. If I remember what I checked lately, it's Turkey. In Turkey, and who was the Zaidi that they had a lot to learn from? Laban, a liar, a thief, whatever you want. And still he was able to raise good children. 13 kids, 12 boys and a girl. And they all stayed Jewish. I mean, they were fighting the family. Yeah, it's all, but that's normal. That's in a Jewish family to be expected. But that's the
What's the mercy?
the question is, what was the secret of Jacob that he was able to raise 13 good children, and Abraham and Isaac were not able to do this? Abraham was chesed, kindness, only kindness. He can never say no, so to speak. The type of parents who cannot say no to his children. One child who's a good child by nature goes for it. But another child might have a hard time. Might take advantage on it. Might abuse it. Another parent, Isaac, was the opposite. He saw his father, said, I'm not going to be like my father. I'll show them who is the boss here. One child, Jacob, was a soft child, took it. Esau was a rebellious child, fought it. Jacob was the balance. What means he was the balance? You know, the second name for Tiferet is Rachamim. Rachamim is mercy. We always ask the question, what's the difference in kindness and mercy?
Mercy is with some restriction. It's going to be measured on the basis of need or by what they deserve of sorts. It's a little bit more balanced.
You're right. Why is this more? What's the difference? A kind person and a merciful person.
Well, you could be. I guess you could be kind to people that really almost don't deserve it.
And merciful.
So I guess the same.
Kindness is more selfish and
Yeah, that's.
mercy.
Well,
is
it's without restriction.
And all of this is true. Kindness, I can be kind to the wrong person. Somebody who is asking me money for drugs. I'm a kind person. I couldn't say no. I gave him. A merciful person knows that it's not good for him to get the drugs. That I, out of mercy to him, I will not do it to him. That mercy is about the other person. Kindness is about me. I have to be kind. I'm a kind person. I cannot say no. That's what the kindness is. For example, somebody walks into the synagogue and he has something on his nose. 20 people didn't tell him anything. I asked him, why didn't you tell him? Oh, I couldn't embarrass him. I just couldn't. They are too kind. It's a selfish behavior, right? They couldn't tell him that it's... Then finally came one guy, tells him, clean your nose up. Oh, fine. No, he's thankful, he's happy, and he can go on like a mensch. The other person thought about the other one, not about himself. Then kindness is when you say, my child asked me, I couldn't say no. There is no strength there. No, it's kindness is a selfish thing. Mercy is about the other person. Jacob was able to relate to every child according to his need. Some children need mercy, need love, need kindness. Some children need discipline. Everyone what he needs. That's why Jacob was able to be successful with all his 13 children. This week is the week of Tiferet, of mercy. Then we have to work on ourselves to think about, if you realize it's as the weeks go, it's less about ourselves and more about how to be to others. Mercy, it's already, there is less me in mercy than in kindness. Also, discipline is already less me than kindness. It's easier to be a kind person than to discipline yourself, you know what I mean? Disciplining is harder, but it's still about me. I should discipline myself, I'm busy with myself, I'm good, I'm not good, I'm too holy, I'm not holy. People are busy, even in a spiritual way, even the people who are trying to work on their own midot, on their own good inclination, good behavior. Too much talking about yourself is also not such a healthy thing. Then comes mercy, is about the other. Then there is the fourth week is represented by whom?
Yosef.
Even Yosef is in the order
That's
of
right.
people, but he is not the one who in these numbers, in this order, is not the person.
Moses.
Moses.
Victory.
Yeah, Moses represents Netzach. What is Netzach? What means victory? What is the other meaning of the word Netzach?
Eternity.
Eternity. What does this mean in our life, David? What do you think? Netzach. What's Netzach? What means in our life to be Netzach? What's Netzach? To be forever. What means to be forever?
It's one of the.
I cannot live forever.
one of
People
the-
want to memorialize themselves
What is it?
forever.
Netzach, yeah.
Netzach Netzachim. Forever and ever. Yeah. Very good. We say it in the prayer. What does this mean to be forever?
Everything that Moshe did was a permanence.
That's nice. What I'm living in
No, I understand.
5,773.
It's a connection to Hashem. Hashem is infinity.
Oh, that number one, when you do a mitzvah, you capture the moment. You take a picture, you capture the moment. The real way to capture the moment is a mitzvah. You do a mitzvah is forever. A mitzvah never goes away. The moment that you did a mitzvah is a never wasted mitzvah. It stays on, stuck there. The mitzvah is there forever and ever. You put on film, or you help another person, you give charity, whatever the mitzvah is, it's there forever. Then when you want to do something, think about it. When you want, even now in the world, it's already, you want to give a present to somebody. You give him a toy, you give him an iPad, it's good for 1 year. 6 months, what 1 year? Ask the kids. There's a mini iPad, an iPad, an iPod, and this, and I cannot even, I say I'll wait until they're all done, then I'll start to learn it. Why to waste every time to learn the new thing? What people give to their present, they plant for you a tree in Israel. What does this mean? Really? Like a mitzvah. You want to do something in your honor, a good deed in your honor. Because the good deed is forever. If people give charity in your honor, they send a donation, they didn't give you anything. Because if you give them something physical, for how long it's going to hold? If you give them something spiritual, it's there forever. He did a mitzvah in my honor. It's there for good. That when I do a mitzvah, I do it forever. That I do something forever. But more than that, in our spiritual, in our Jewish life, in our journey, we have to get used to do a mitzvah in a way that I know today that in 10 years from now I will also do it. I will not drift away from it. I'm so embodied with the mitzvah that it became a part of me. For example, there is a law in Maimonides says about tshuva. He has to do such repentance that God will testify on him that he will never do the sin again. But the question is, what do you mean, testify that you never do the sin? How could you know that you never do the sin again? But you are so strong in your decision now, you are in such a state of mind now that you can never see yourself doing it again. The same thing is in mitzvahs. You start to do, for example, people start to do a new mitzvah, lighting candles Friday night. When you know that the mitzvah is real, is forever, when you light candles in the hotel, in the hospital, on a vacation, on a trip, on the plane, under the plane, above the plane, no matter what, you are going to light the candles. Then you know this mitzvah is with you forever, engraved in you. Then you do go to the next mitzvah. You put on film. When you know that you put on film, that you flew out of town, you forgot your film, and you go to look all over the city. You drive 3 hours to find somebody who has film, and you put on film. You know that you cannot survive one day without it. And then you ask somebody to ship you that film overnight, and it costs you I don't know what. Then you know that it's yours. That you grab to the mitzvah, that the mitzvah is forever. That's why I tell people always when it comes to Jewish things, not to rush too much in the mitzvahs, but to always, when you feel comfortable with one mitzvah, that you are so strong with it, and it so became a part of you, then you go on. That's one of the expressions of netzach. Netzach, that you can, for example, there is a Jewish law, interesting law, about a spring. A spring that it dries out once in 7 years is called a false spring. Spring of water. It dries out once in 7 years. It's not a true spring, it's so to speak. I don't think it could become kosher for a mikveh or something. Because if it's not forever, it's not real. Truth and forever means that it's consistent, no matter what the situation is.
Is that why Moses is what it's like
Truth, yeah.
and peace?
Exactly.
But truth is not mentioned with Tiferes, or it is?
It's not Tiferes, this is Netzach.
Netzach.
Netzach and truth is the same idea. Something that's true, it's true today, it's true tomorrow, will be true 1,000 years from now. The Torah is still true. You know, when you say a lie, they say, what's the problem with the lie? You forget the lie that you said yesterday. If you say the truth, you have nothing to forget. You say what happened, that you'll never make a mistake. Then this is the idea of Netzach. Another side of Netzach means victory, to be victorious. In every trouble, in every obstacle that you see in life, to look at it as a challenge and to overcome it, to be victorious over this problem. And that's what Netzach means, to overcome these problems. This is the 4th week that we have to concentrate. Whatever we do should be real, should be a part of us, and we should always try to overcome all our challenges that God gives. What's a challenge? A challenge is, talking about regular challenges. A challenge is something that God wants to bring out the best of you. Your wife goes out of town. Suddenly you discover you know how to cook. You didn't know you do it. You didn't know for a lifetime, you didn't know that you can do such things. Many people didn't know they can do many things until they were a moment that they learned, that they realized they can do. There is many people who didn't know they can fundraise, many people didn't know that they can do many things, they can teach. I mean, people didn't know they can lead a service. I mean, on many levels, people didn't realize that they can do something until they were once put on the spot. There was nobody else. You had to do it. You didn't know you can lead a Seder. Suddenly you discovered, I actually know how to do it. And it's not bad, and I even enjoyed it. That's what Netzach is. That's what a part of Netzach, of the challenges. Then comes Hod.
One more
Yeah,
question.
I'm sorry.
Is,
Go ahead.
no. It's also related to all these attributes are also related to like the right arm or the leg or.
Yeah,
Is
sure,
that important to this or not so important?
Netzach is the right arm. Yeah, I mean the
Right leg.
right leg, yeah. But that's a whole different
Yeah.
parsha. One day we'll learn about that. You know, Mark will give you a class about it. He can give you a quickie in 2 hours. He will explain you everything. And David can give you the short review of Mark. Then Hod is represented
By Aaron.
by heron. Splendor. Splendor?
Splendor, splendor, splendor.
Love is a many splendid thing.
What? Love is what?
Love is a many splendid thing. It was
It's
a
a
movie.
phrase,
It was
it's
a
a phrase.
movie.
But I don't get let's say it again slow.
Love is a many splendid thing.
Many splendor things. That means to say what?
I don't
Commentary,
know.
please.
I never thought about it.
What is
It's a
this?
good movie, though.
I know
Love
that-
is a beautiful
Is-
thing to experience. You know,
Is
know.
many
Many
splendor.
splendors, has
Many,
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 many
many,
splendors.
many amazing parts.
many
Many
aspects.
things.
Many aspects, many nice aspects of life, probably. Okay, I learned something. Splendor means you're amazed by it. What does this mean? Aaron's behavior was such that people were amazed by his behavior. And everybody wanted to say, I want my child to be like Aaron. Aaron was known for doing peace, for making peace, for loving peace, and bringing people close to the Torah. That's why parents gave their children names. Aaron. I want him to be like Aaron. I like Aaron's behavior. I wish my child would be. I'll call him Aaron. Maybe we'll help. Somebody pointed out to me today, Aaron, in America at least, is a much more common name than Moses.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Sure.
there's no question.
In Hebrew, Moshe is a very common name. But Aaron also, but not so much. In America, Aaron is a very common name. Everybody is Aaron. Moshe, Moses, Moses Cleveland. The last time I heard somebody's name Moses in America. I never met a guy with the name Moses. You ever met a guy, you know anybody who is named Moses?
I think Woody Allen named his son Moses, didn't
Moshe, who owns Ungers.
That's Moshe, not Moses, not in America. That's his Hebrew name.
Mike's name is the big guy is Moshe.
Which one?
Yeah, Avner's friend, the big Moshe, the Mashiach.
Moshiach. His name is not Moshe, Moshiach. It's a different name completely. It's much higher. Isn't this interesting? I would say that the common name of a country represent the culture of the country. Americans are people who like peace. Let's make a deal. Let's not fight. Let's not look for the truth. Let's make peace. You know, the Israelis are it's called dugri, very honest. Is my shirt and it looks nice? No, it's terrible, it's ugly. He asked me, I told him. If he wouldn't want to know my opinion, he wouldn't ask me, right? If he asked me, obviously he wants to know my opinion. I told him the truth. Why should I lie to him? Americans, God forbid. Sure, it's beautiful. That there is a culture of peace, pursuing peace or pursuing the truth. Moses and Aaron. And this is one way of doing things. This is another way of doing things. And it's even Moses himself promoted the behavior of Aaron. Moses said, I have to be Moses. I'm the leader. I have to lay down the law. But from everyone, in the Pirkei Avot, we learn, right? And Pirkei Avot we read, be like the disciples of Aaron. We don't say be like the disciples of Moses. On page 272, Dr. Olchen, you want to read this? Page 272, number 12. Hillel said,
Hillel and Shammai received the oral tradition from them. Hillel said, be of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving your fellow creatures and bringing them near to the Torah.
And to a point, we are all disciples of Moses. We all learn the Torah. It's called Moshe Rabbeinu. But the Mishnah encourages us to be like the disciples of Aaron. Better peace than truth. You know? When it comes to the question peace or truth, stick to peace. The truth, don't worry. That the truth will not be pursued all the way and not kill 10 people will be good too. Peace is more important than truth. Peace in the home or the truth in the home? What's better?
Peace trumps truth.
Peace is many splendors.
Oh, yeah.
Then this is Aaron. Aaron was hot. Aaron with his behavior and with his dressing, he used to come with his clothing and with his all what he represented. He brought splendor to God. And really, that's our job. What I mean with that, every one of us is judged by our behavior. People judge by our behavior the whole Jewish people, the whole nation and God and everything. Then when we do something, we have to think about it. Now people tell me, oh, I see families on Solomon Chabad, they're nice, they're kind, I want to be a part of it. Or, the other side, they don't tell me, it's obvious. People in America don't tell you bad things, they just don't tell you. The same thing is here. Every one of us has to be Aaron. It means he has to think about it, that he has to bring splendor of God and of the Jewish people to the rest of the world. That's what Aaron is. That's week number 5, we have time. No rush. Week number 6 is who?
So
Yesod. What's Yesod translated?
Foundation.
it's a foundation.
What's foundation?
It's it codifies
foundation?
it
Something you can
codifies
build on.
everything that came about
As you
from
sell
before.
it.
What does this mean?
It's
Because your
bringing it
roots-
all together. Finally you've taken all these individual components and now you brought it down to one thing that funnels down to.
What is Yesod? Can you give me in English what Yesod is? What does this mean? What foundation means?
It's a permanence. It's a.
It's permanent. I hear what you say, but translate it in real life. Who is Yesod? Who represents Yesod?
Joseph.
Joseph, right? No. What does this mean? What can we learn from Joseph's life? That
He
it's-
was the next level of balance from Yaakov.
Joseph was able to take his Judaism and be Jewish in a non-Jewish area.
in a non-Jewish environment.
And keep, and raise a family and keep his
Well,
values.
not just any. It was
Very
not
nice.
not any ordinary place. Egypt was
The worst place. Then the other way to translate foundation, I would say commitment. Commitment. Where you see commitment by Joseph?
Ran
Raising
away
his
from
children?
Potiphar.
He ran away from Potiphar's wife. Nobody was there. Nobody saw. He could do whatever he wants. He was almost there. This just seduced him. He had commitment. In today's world, would be commitment to a marriage. Number 2, how he introduced himself, Joseph, in Egypt. When he told the butler,
Hebrew.
he says, "I'm an Hebrew," right? Who didn't say I'm an Hebrew? Who didn't say it? Who didn't mind that people should think of him that he's not an Hebrew?
Moses,
Moses, very good. When?
when he went to
Midian.
the well with Yisro's daughters. when
They
had-
came and said, an Egyptian man saved us. That's why the Medrash says that's why he was not buried in Israel. And Moses, that you see, Joseph was committed to his marriage, if you want, even he wasn't married, but committed to a moral life. He was committed to his people. Always said he's an Hebrew. And what else he was committed? What else the great thing that Joseph did?
Ephraim,
His
Manasseh.
His what he did with his brothers, that he was respectful, that he didn't
That he forgave them.
Yeah.
That he
forgive them.
didn't seek revenge.
Not
revenge.
only didn't seek revenge, there is something
He
unique about
helped. He
Joseph.
helped them kind of come
He
to.
paid with good for bad.
Tshuva.
He paid with good for bad. Meshalem toivota. He paid with good for bad. That's what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. That's an amazing thing to understand it and to see it. But many people forgive you. Ask for forgiveness. I forgive you. Right. I'm here. You are there. Have a nice day. I'll smile to you from time to time. I have nothing against you. I got rid of my grudges. I was sitting on the therapy couch for weeks and weeks. I got all my things out. I'm not angry with my parents. They're dead already 30 years. I'm not angry with them. Oh, Baruch Hashem is done. He's 75 years old. He graduated. To pay with good for bad, that's unheard of. That's Joseph. That's a commitment to his family. That he has a commitment to his religion, to God, a commitment to his nation, and a commitment to his family. And by the way, you can see it. Somebody is committed to one of these, will be committed to the other. It goes together. If he's not trustworthy in one part of his life, there is better chances he will not be trustworthy in other parts of his life. Somebody is trustworthy all over, all the way.
Mhm.
And that's an important, that's Joseph. That's foundation means somebody who's stable, somebody who's strong, and he doesn't move, not everything. And what you pointed out, he went by himself, he married in Egypt, without any Jewish culture whatsoever. By himself, he raised a Jewish family to a point that when Jacob came down, he said, Ephraim and Menashe are like my children. I'm so impressed by them. That's Joseph. And the 6th week, not now, don't worry about that. Now we don't have to be worried about commitment and foundation. Or forgiveness, God forbid. The 6th week we should work on this. And the second week is Malchut. What is Malchus?
That's King David.
I know. What does this mean?
Kingship?
Well,
What is kingship?
ruler?
Kingship.
it's totally being bittul to Hashem that you
Oh.
that you've finally taken the yoke of.
Nullification. King David, you know what King David says in the prayers we say every day? You're the Chazan, right? What is King David says? Tell you what King David says. Open page 35 if you don't mind for a second.
And David blessed the Lord in the presence of all the assembly. And David said, Blessed are you, Lord, God of our father Israel, in all the realms of the universe. Lord, yours is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty.
Okay. What is David saying? Lord, you is the greatness, you is the power, you are the majesty. It's you. You gave me the kingdom. King David was picked up from the goddess, basically, from being a shepherd, and was put as a king. He knew always that it's never about him. It's not his achievement. It's not his greatness. He was nullified in the eyes of God. That's why he was forgiven for everything, because it was never about him. He never had an ego. He never thought it's him. You see, what's the difference in King Saul and King David? King Saul sinned. King David sinned. Why was King Saul not forgiven and King David was forgiven?
Saul became very egotistic when he finally he wouldn't step away. He was
Public. And one was private.
Yeah.
One was a communal sin and one was a private sin. One affected the Jewish people, one not. That's true. But there is another thing. When Samuel came to Saul, what Saul told him?
I didn't sin. Maybe.
Akimoisid var Hashem. I had fulfilled the order of God. That Samuel tells him, what is the noise that I hear there? The cows. Oh, this. He didn't admit that he did wrong. What happened by David? When Nathan the prophet walked in and told them a story with the sheep,
Yeah.
right away
Immediately
says, he right away admitted that he sinned. It comes from a sense of humbleness, of nullification. That King David, only a person who has total nullification can write the book of Psalms. Only somebody who is, it's not about him, it's only about God, can write such a powerful book of prayers that it all brings out the soul of every person to the God, touches every type of situation and every type of person and can connect to God. And because of his humbleness and nullification. That the 7th week we have to work on this week, on this problem, but don't worry, not yet.
Thank you, Grandpa.